Library is the place to be.
We're always evolving our spaces, collections and services to meet the diverse needs of our wonderful community.
I love my library. It's a safe place to be, it's inclusive. I always find something new that interests me. It's not just the place for books anymore.
A library has something for people of all ages.
And is a place of discovery, events and learning at every stage of life. It's your library. Visit us today.
Did you know that Merri-bek is home to a diverse community where more than 95 languages are spoken? That's why we offer information on council services in your language. If you've received a rates notice that you don't understand, would like to request a new bin, or have another question for council, we can help. We have free in-person and phone interpreters who can help you communicate with staff at council in your language. To request an interpreter, simply call 92401111 and ask one of our customer service staff to organize one for you. You can also request an interpreter at one of our customer service centers, libraries, or maternal and child health centers. At Merri-bek, we're proud of our diverse community and we want to make sure everyone can access our services. For more information about our language services, please visit our website.
Wheel Sisters came about after some women in Fawkner approached us, wanting to learn to ride bikes and also find other women from their own community to ride with, including women who might ride in hijab or an abaya. One of the things that never gets old when you teach people to ride bikes is the sheer thrill they get when they realise they can do it.
The really special thing about teaching both the women in Fawkner and the women here is just the cultural barriers that they face every day, and coming from a place where they never thought they'd ever be able to ride a bike. A lot of them do reflect that it's been their lifelong dream to ride a bike, but they never thought they'd be able to do it. So it's just that extra level of being able to gift that to somebody.
I got really excited when I heard about this program. I'm almost 40 and I've never ridden a bike. I tried when I was little. Yeah, I still can't believe that I can ride, and yeah, it's been a dream and I'm so glad that it came true.
It was excellent, very special experience for me because it was my childhood wish to learn how to ride a bike.
Yeah, my experience was great because I've never ridden the bike before. So it was like truly empowering for me. And I thought I can't ever learn, but Kaz was really patient and encouraging.
At this age, it's a really courageous thing to learn new things. And any age, anyone can do it if they want it. And willingness is the most important things, and that's I prove myself.
I think it's good health-wise as well as environmentally. It gives me some physical activity to incorporate into my daily routine. I think it was great to find other people like me who have recently learned to ride, and you know, we are all well connected now.
Yeah, after so many years, I'm very grateful to have this opportunity and have Cass and Faith with us, and they've been amazing, amazing teachers. Everybody should give it a go and see for themselves how easy it is. Yeah, because I never thought I could, and I'm able to do it now.
Merri-bek as an organisation has a culture of pushing for better outcomes for the environment and really strong on sustainability. Part of that is adapting our infrastructure in the face of climate change. To do that, we need to test things. We need to work together with others in the industry to look at better and different ways of doing things. And that's what this trial is all about. This project has been a collaboration between Melbourne Water, Merri-bek City Council, the University of Melbourne, and then we've been working with Porous Lane, who have been coming up with new permeable pavement technologies which have been adapted for this permeable curb and channel.
Porous Lane is a unique material developed out of research at the University of Melbourne. It's comprised of approximately 50% recycled tyre, all sourced from Australia, and in this case the tyres were sourced from here in Victoria. It's a unique material in that it has a very high permeability. It infiltrates water at approximately 8 times the guideline that we use, international guideline, and so it's really effective at getting water off the road.
So this is a permeable curb and channel. The idea is that when it's raining, water will fall on what we call our catchment, so the street here in front of us, and it moves through this permeable material. Behind the permeable material, we've got this structural soil trench, and that's what the tree roots will actually grow in. So the water can move through and it can irrigate these recently planted trees. This is great for trying to get the trees to grow more so they suffer less drought stress, but also great in terms of reducing the amount of stormwater runoff that's eventually making its way down to the drainage pit and then into the nearest urban waterway, which can cause issues there. So you can see that the water doesn't move in immediately. It takes a little bit of time before it finally infiltrates through the curb, but we've dumped a lot of water on it in a hurry, and by the time we get to this small pile of leaves here, the water is infiltrating and starting to move in, and therefore not going down the network. A normal curb and channel will just convey runoff from streets, car parks, etc. really efficiently down into drainage networks. And the problem with that is it'll pick up pollutants on the way. We can see some leaf litter here, but also other types of pollutants which are deposited around the place. And that gets conveyed to waterways really fast, and it causes degradation and basically destruction of waterway ecosystems. So compared to a normal curb and channel, this permeable one can reduce the amount of water that's going to make it into drainage networks and try and avoid or at least mitigate some of those negative impacts.
It really has been a collaboration in the real sense of the word, in that throughout, the concept, coming up with the idea, talking through the site location, refining the design, working with the engineers, getting everyone on board has taken a real team effort. It's a strength when you've got all those different perspectives and all those different areas of expertise coming together, because it is hard to change and it is hard to do things differently. And I think that's really probably what the success of a partnership project is.
The compost that we receive from Merri-bek Council that's made from the waste from our green bins, the food and organics waste, is a fantastic resource. A lot of carbon, a lot of organic matter that goes to building up the soil here, combined with the compost that we make ourselves. A really brilliant resource for the garden, and it produces fantastic crops, as you can see behind me.
Well, obviously it's really important to compost food. If it's just going into the normal bin, then it's creating all these really bad greenhouse gases and contributing to climate change. But the benefit for community gardens is that we can't generate as much compost on our own, so we need the addition of council compost to help us grow vegetables and renew the soil, so we get the best productivity from the garden.
Sometimes when we get the compost, there's contaminants in it, like plastics, biodegradable bags. Some of them are not quite suitable for the process that the compost goes through. We have to then sort through the compost and pull them out, otherwise they're going to contaminate all our vegetables and the earth that we're trying to re-nourish with the compost.
messages go around on Facebook saying, hey, there's zucchini or cucumbers in the basket at Pentridge and they're gone in, half an hour later. So we just like to share it with the community because that's what it's about.
In Merri-bek, we now have a 4-bin waste service. All households need to separate mixed recycling, glass recycling, food and garden organics, and general rubbish. This will help reduce the amount of waste we send to landfill and improve the quality of recyclables in Victoria. Glass bottles and jars now go in your new glass recycling bin. Lids must be firmly attached. Loose lids go in your general rubbish bin. Steel tins, aluminium cans and foil, paper and cardboard, and plastic bottles and containers go in your mixed recycling bin. Food scraps.
Good evening, councillors, members of the gallery, and to our viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. My name is Councillor Nadabood and I am the Mayor of Merri-bek City Council and the chairperson of tonight's special council meeting. It's my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's special council meeting. We are meeting on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. We wish to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways and would also like to pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, as well as to all First Nations communities who significantly contribute to the life of this city. This council meeting is being recorded and web streamed live to Council's website and YouTube. This recording will also be available as video on demand. Attendees are advised that they will be recorded during the meeting. A reminder that as councillors, we will act in accordance with the Councillor Code of Conduct, which will support the principles of leadership and good governance that secures public confidence in the office of councillor. In the event of an emergency or disruption, we may be required to take action to ensure the safety of attendees. For members of the gallery and councillors attending in person, please follow the directions issued by council staff and security officers. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. I'd like to introduce the other councillors in attendance tonight. To my right, Councillor Helen Davidson, the Deputy Mayor.
Good evening.
Councillor Sue Bolton.
Hi, everybody.
Councillor Liz Irvin.
Hi, everyone.
Councillor Dr. Jay Iwasaki.
Good evening.
Councillor Chris Miles.
Evening.
Councillor Alice Svensson.
Good evening.
And Councillor Oscar Yildiz.
Good evening.
The following councillors have been approved to attend tonight's meeting via electronic means, and I'd like to welcome Councillor Adam Pulford.
Hi, everyone.
And Councillor Katarine Theodosis.
Hi, everyone.
I'd also like to introduce the Acting Chief Executive Officer, Sue Vucevic, and Senior Management Team. I've received an apology this evening from Councillor Helen Politis. I'll now move on to disclosures and conflicts of interest. Councillors, are there any conflicts of interest to declare? And I see that Councillor Irvin has her hand up. Councillor, would you please state which item your conflict of interest relates to?
Yes, it's the Kendall Harding Footbridge, BR070 over Merri Creek. Just any in the Capital Works program.
Thank you. So immediately before we consider that item, I'll ask you to provide the details of the type and nature of that conflict of interest, and then ask you to leave the meeting before this item is moved and to return after the item has been considered and voted on. Are there any other conflicts of interest? Councillor Theodosis.
Yep, I have a conflict of interest with the Desheen Reserve projects, Balfe Park project, Dunstan Reserve South Sports Field redevelopment, Holbrook Reserve Pavilion, and gender inclusive change rooms, McBride Street Reserve projects, and Wallace Reserve projects.
Thank you. So as I mentioned to Councillor Irvin, just before we consider that item, I will ask you to provide the details of the type and nature of the conflict of interest, and then ask you to leave the meeting before the item is moved and to return after the item has been considered and voted on. Thanks. So I need to seek the agreement of Council for Council to separate those parts of the proposed budget related to the items that were mentioned, to enable those councillors with a disclosed conflict of interest to participate in the remainder of the proposed budget. Councillor Davidson and Councillor Bolton, and I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour, declare that carried. Thank you. Okay, so we have the one report to consider, but we'll take those parts that we've identified out first. Or maybe do we need to, shall we just do that last? Do it first. Okay, yeah, sure. So the Harding Street Bridge point, I'll just wait for those words to come up. And then, Councillor Irvin, would you like to speak to the conflict of interest?
Yes, I have a conflict on this item. My employer is doing the works on the design of this bridge.
Thank you. Do we need to move another motion to pull them out, or we've already agreed to do that? The motion. Councillor, yeah. Okay, so I just need a mover that we can separate that specific motion out. Councillor Svensson, and a seconder, Councillor Davidson. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried. Thank you, Councillor Irvin. Oh, right, okay, yeah. We've already made that. Yeah, sure.
We'll just need a motion to move that.
Oh, yeah, okay, yes, okay, sure. Okay, sorry for the confusion. So that last motion was superfluous to needs. What we need to do is consider this particular motion. Is there a councillor that would like to move it? Councillor Bolton and Councillor Davidson. Councillor Bolton, would you like to talk to this part of the budget?
I don't really feel a need to talk to this particular part. I think people will be very happy to get a new bridge, even though there's been some controversy over the design of it. But I think people will be happy to get this new bridge.
Thank you, Councillor Bolton. Councillor Davidson?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you.
Sure. Are there any other speakers that would like to say anything? I'll put that to the vote, that the Council endorses as part of the budget for public exhibition the proposed capital works funding allocation for all items relating to the Kendall Harding Footbridge BR 070 over Merri Creek for the purpose of community exhibition commencing 21st of April 2026 until 5 p.m. on 21st of May 2026. Put that to the vote. All those in favour? And I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. And we'll go and find Councillor Irvin. Thanks, Sue. And now move to the second part of the budget that we've agreed to pull out. Thank you so much. Which is related to the soccer. Councillor Theodosis, would you like to speak to the conflict of interest?
Yeah, sure. I have a conflict of interest with these items. The work that I do with my employer is related to these items as it's associated with football.
Thank you. So we'll just ask Councillor Theodosis. I'll ask that she root it out. Councillor Theodosis to the waiting room. Okay, and we'll just get the words up, and then we can I can ask for a mover in a second. Okay, So I just need a mover for this part of the budget. Councillor Bolton and Councillor Miles. Councillor Bolton, would you like to speak?
Like with the previous item, I think these are all projects, upgrades to various reserves, which, you know, various clubs and communities are really desperate to have. So I think I definitely support this proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Bolton. Councillor Miles?
Yeah, very quickly, I'm just really glad to see Rupert Wallace's lights upgrade going in. This will be a great outcome for Glenroy Lions and Moreland Eagles.
Well done. I'll put, are there any other speakers? I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Declare that carried unanimously, and we'll bring Councillor Theodosis back into the room and, yeah, and then into the virtual room, and then move on to the rest of the budget. So is there a mover for the budget? Councillor Evan and Councillor Davidson to second. I know there are a couple of amendments, so we might maybe try to put the amendments before we talk to the whole budget, unless you really wanted to speak to it first. Councillor Evan? Yep. So the first amendment was one that was proposed by... Have we got Councillor Theodosis back in the room? She has? Oh, okay. We just might make sure that Councillor Theodosis is back in the room before we put the amendments, only because one of them is hers. Yeah, sure. Sure. So I had one as well, which is an amendment to the Capital Works program related to Duggan Reserve. And I think that the words have been circulated this afternoon, but and so I just need to find out whether that's amenable to the mover and seconder. Otherwise, I'd need to find a seconder and see if it has support in the chamber. Councillor Davidson?
That's acceptable to me too.
Okay, great. Well, that's easy. So then we'll move on to Councillor Yildiz amendments to... Well, it was amenable, so it's incorporated into the... Yeah. So then Councillor Yildiz amendment, which is an amendment to the Capital Works program also related to the Rayburn Reserve, thank you, Councillor, sports field upgrade. And those words have been circulated again. Is that amenable to the mover and seconder?
Yes, that's amenable.
Councillor Davidson?
It is.
Great, easy. Welcome back, Councillor Theodosis. So we're just working through the amendments that have been proposed via email this afternoon. And the one that I proposed about Duggan and the one that Councillor Yildiz has proposed about Rayburn Reserve have both been incorporated, but we now would like to just see how people feel about the amendment that you've proposed, which is amend the community budget idea to allocate the shade sale funding to specifically HM Dowd Reserve. And can I ask if the mover and seconder are amenable to that amendment as well?
This one I'm actually not, I don't accept. I think just going by the officer's recommendations, I think it's probably better to keep it open for now as to where that is allocated.
Sure. So I'll need to ask Councillor Theodosis if you have a seconder to the amendment. And Councillor Miles, you're happy to second. Councillor Theodosis, would you like to speak to your proposed amendment, please?
Yeah, I would. I guess I just brought this now because I know it's one of our community budget ideas. I've had residents in the area raise this as a concern for them, and they've brought their young kids to the park and they feel like there isn't enough shade for them to sit down. And I thought this was something that I wanted to raise as a budget item, but was given the advice that it could fit under one of the community budget ideas, and that was probably the best way to bring this up to council. So I just thought it would be, I think it's just a easy way to make sure that little kids and residents have got a place to sit where there's shade. And yeah, just makes sense that that's something that's already come up, that's already going to be funding for in the budget, and we haven't allocated it yet. So I thought this could be a good way to find ones that have already been raised by residents.
Thank you. Councillor Miles, would you like to speak?
No, nothing to add.
Yeah. Is there a councillor that would like to speak against this particular amendment?
Yeah.
Councillor Irvin?
I guess just to sort of give a bit more context, like I certainly, see the point around doing this, and I appreciate it's responding to residents' concerns, but I do feel, I guess with the community budget ideas, it's, officers will have developed, I guess, a list of prioritised locations for shade sales, and it sounds like just because of the available trees and additional trees that have been planted in this location, it would just make it a bit difficult to put in a shade sale, and there are other locations that are higher priority. And we may well hear more through the engagement process with the community as well.
And is there a councillor that would like to speak in support of the proposed amendment? I think I'll just put that to the vote. So all those in favour of Councillor Theodosi's proposed amendment to allocate some or all of the $80,000 of funding from the Capital Works project, Cool Playground, Safe Kids, Sun Smart Shade for our parks, to shade sales specifically at HM Dowd Reserve. So I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Against? I think that's lost on the casting vote. Yeah, so, all those in favour? Councillor Bolton, Councillor Miles, Councillor Davidson, Councillor Theodosis, and Councillor Yildiz. And against? Councillor Irvin, Councillor Iwasaki, Councillor Pulford, Councillor Abood, and Councillor Svensson. Okay. Thank you. So that vote is, lost on the casting vote. So we'll now move to the rest of the budget. That amendment hasn't been incorporated and everything else has been. Yes.
If it goes ahead. My understanding is the item in point 2 on adding dedicated risky play elements to the playground upgrade at ATC Cook Reserve also includes an upgrade to the picnic shelter. I feel if that's the case, that's my understanding, it should be actually specified in the motion so the community knows that that's happening.
So just to clarify, and I promise I won't freak out, I'm not much of a freaker-outer, are you proposing that you would like to specify maybe at point 5 where it says picnic tables in neighbourhood parks, including ATC Cook Reserve?
There's already a project the council's agreed to.
Okay,
it's
sure.
It's just that if someone's reading this, they would think that the only thing happening is the upgrading of the play space and not the So I'm just really a question to the director, actually, really about that.
Yep.
Is do I need to add that in to make it clear to people?
Greg, you're there online?
Yep, through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question, Councillor Bolton. So it doesn't need to be added to this motion. So we already have budget for the shelter in the main part of the budget. So it doesn't need to be added to the risky play community budget idea.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. It's been mentioned now too, so that's good. Okay, so Councillor Irvin, I believe you moved the budget, so would you like to speak as the mover?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is our 4-year budget. Each year we adopt a rolling 4-year budget, and this is really taking this out to you, the community, for engagement. And so we now start, a few months of hearing from the community. There are budget submissions that people can make, and we do really consider those, and they impact the final budget that we adopt in June. So I would really encourage anyone who's interested in council, if you've ever thought that a particular area is underfunded, or if you see, you know, maybe the way that we allocate resources, you know, if you think that could be improved, certainly have your say. It's really important that our budget shapes, you know, reflects our values and our community, and we're always really excited to hear your ideas for it as well. So I would certainly, yes, encourage everyone who's involved with Merri-bek to have your say on this year's budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Irvin. And Councillor Davidson, would you like to speak?
Yes, thanks. Thanks, Councillor Irvin. I think this budget comes at a time where we can feel a lot of excitement about the proposals that have been put forward, and also at a time where we are closely monitoring the current economic environment. I will point out that we are within the rate cap set by the Victorian State Government, and while we are monitoring the current situation in relation to fuel prices, which may put some pressure on the delivery of services, the focus will always be on maintaining essential services to the best of our ability and acting in good faith, which is something this council can pride itself on. I think the 28-day public exhibition period is a really great opportunity for the public to review the current proposals and get excited about some of the ideas that have been put forward, both through the community submissions and through the quite large allocations of funds to really good projects that make practical differences in people's everyday lives. And some of those include continuing the funding for the Outdoor Help for Seniors program, continuing the solar and thermal grants for low-income earners, and continued funding for the urban forest strategy as well. We've got a focus on roads and car park renewal maintenance at $10.6 million, improvements to parks and open space and streetscapes at $11.5 million, and also quite a bit of work for our community sporting grounds. I know Oak Park Football Club and Therry Penola have long awaited some works for their grounds as well. So I think we're getting the balance right, and it's something that the community can really look at, get excited about, share their ideas and their hopes for the budget that comes back to us. The council will be presenting the final budget on the 22nd of June, and feedback from the community needs to come back by the 26th of May.
Thank you, Councillor Davidson. Is there a councillor that would like to speak against the budget draft? Or any other councillors in favour of the budget who might like to speak? Councillor Pulford.
Thank you, Mayor. I think the budget process this year has been done quite well, led by officers and with councillor input. So I'm pleased to be supporting this draft budget tonight. One thing I wanted to note is that we've put in the later years of our capital works program an expansion for Brunswick Baths. It's a much-loved community facility that we talk about a lot at council, and it's also it's the most visited facility in our area in Merri-bek. So it's still out in the later years, and there's still lots of work to be done, but it's been a good effort by councillors and council officers to work out that expanding the Brunswick Baths is a priority and how it can fit amongst all of our community infrastructure and services that we provide.
Thank you, Councillor Pulford. Are there other councillors that would like to speak? No. I just would like to remind anybody who's paying attention that this is our draft budget. It does return a small surplus at the moment, which is something that we think is important, but it could actually be a bit bigger, especially considering how uncertain things are in the future related to the cost of fuel and what's happening across the world. But I think that it's a pretty healthy looking budget and prioritises a lot of really important things. And I also would like to commend not only officers for listening to what we've been talking about, but also to all of you here for engaging with the process and, you know, sort of hearing what priorities are. And I think that it's a really good, it's something I think we can be proud of, the work that we've considered together on the budget. So unless anyone else would like to say anything, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? I declare that carried unanimously. We don't actually have any other business, and we've carried our draft budget, so I can declare tonight's meeting closed at 6:55 p.m. Thanks, everybody.